I realized all men, we need money and meaning. Money gives us the ability to give our families security and experiences and look after them and be good to people with our money. And then meaning, if something's not meaningful, if we don't have a sense of purpose or significance, a dude will go and find ways to sabotage his life. The guys get to build a brotherhood, and which is missing today. Dudes, everyone is an island, right? And I go, why would they need a belt? These guys are paying a lot of money to go through this 75-hour experience, and they seem committed. They're gonna go through it. He goes, we're gonna have quitters. I'm gonna make people quit.
Do you want to talk about the project for a minute?
Yeah. So the project, when I wrote my book, Man Up, in my book, I talked about how I put myself through these 6-week challenges. This started probably 13 years ago. I decided that I'm gonna run a marathon. You know, you always tell yourself, like, I'm good at lifting weights, but I can't run. Or someone says, I'm a runner, but I can't lift weights. I'm not made for that. And I started thinking about how many ways we put ourselves in a corner or in a box by saying, I'm not able to do that, or I don't remember names, right? And so my whole thing was, I'm not a good runner. I've never been a good runner. So I was like, I'm gonna break that fallacy by hiring a running coach, training for 6 weeks, and running the San Diego Marathon. And I did. It was painful. It was awful. It was all of it. Everything you would imagine, how in discomfort, it was everything, because it's such a short amount of time. And I'm not a small dude, 6 foot, 230 pounds. Like, that's a lot of weight to carry 26.2 miles. And so I talk about how I do these challenges, and every time I do a challenge, jiu-jitsu challenge, MMA challenge, rock climbing, guitar lessons, salsa dancing, anything that's out of my comfort zone, right? Each time I would see improvements in other areas of my life, right? Relationships, business, just being more stoic, because you learn a lot about yourself as you go through discomfort, and anyone knows that it's you, what you do as a SEAL. And so these dudes who read my book would reach out and say, dude, if you put together some kind of challenge to help us develop in these areas, like, we'd love it. And I'm like, well, just pick a 6-week challenge and do it, right? I talk about it in my book. You keep hearing something long enough and you realize, I think I'm gonna put together something for dudes who wanna develop physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. And in that time, when I was doing those 6-week challenges, I also had dealt with some trauma as a kid, and started working with a therapist, and that unpacked a lot of shit. So lo and behold, we put together the project. It's a 75-hour experience. Ray Cashcare, former Navy SEAL, lead instructor, Steve Eckhart, another lead instructor, myself, and we take men who are entrepreneurs, first responders, former military. They, one, want to go through something hard physically, mentally, emotionally, but two, also want to develop financially in their relationships, overcome traumas, and probably are not likely to go work with a therapist. And I'm not a therapist, but I've worked enough with a therapist, and my therapist has helped me journal and figure things out. So we take this 75-hour straight experience. It's like a crucible where Ray and Steve put him through physical evolutions, truck pulls, ice bath, hikes with logs and stuff, things that you're probably very familiar with. And then I teach time management, life management, stress management, entrepreneurship, how to create multiple income streams. Because I think whether you're a cop, you're a firefighter, you have a career, you're a C-level executive, or you're an entrepreneur, you might want to create a second, third, fourth income stream. So we take the best of all the skill sets that the three of us have as instructors. And now we've got other instructors that come in with specialized skills. One guy is a SEER instructor. He was a SEER instructor in the Air Force. So he'll teach that. So it's really cool stuff, like dude stuff. And guys get to build a brotherhood, and which is missing today. Dudes, everyone is an island, right? And so the guys that graduate end up being part of this Project Brotherhood and this 12-month coaching program that I've created, this mastermind where I help them in their money and their meaning. Because I realized all men, we need money and meaning. Money gives us the ability to give our families security and experiences and look after them and be good to people with our money. And then meaning, if something's not meaningful, if we don't have a sense of purpose or significance, a dude will go and find ways to sabotage his life: alcohol, drugs, infidelity, pornography, whatever. And so the 12-month mastermind for the graduates of the project is just focused on increasing their purpose, their meaning, and increasing their sources of money. And when I do that, we have a better man on the other side of it, and they're plugged into a brotherhood. The funny thing about that is that class number 1, so we've now, over the last 4 years, we've run 17 classes. We're about to run the 18th. For class 1, Ray goes, "Hey, we're going to need a bell." I said, "Ray, why would we need a bell?" He goes, "Well, in BUD/S," now keep in mind, I'm a civilian. I don't know anything other than like what I read about, Navy SEALs and BUD/S on social media, especially at the time. Being around you guys more, I definitely understand your world more. And I go, why would they need a bell? These guys are paying a lot of money to go through this 75-hour experience, and they seem committed. They're going to go through it. He goes, "We're going to have quitters. I'm going to make people quit." And I reluctantly said, "Well, get one, but you're going to see it's a waste of money." And man, I was wrong. First class had 2 dropouts. Since then, we've had quitters in every class, but the guys that graduate just become new human beings. They operate at a higher level, develop self-mastery, and I just love seeing that.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of clips on, I believe, Instagram of Ray just, whoa.
He's got a gift.
He's good at that. He's really good. Do you mind if I put one of those clips up in the interview right now?
No, absolutely, man.
I would
I'd
love to.
And by the way, I have to. When people see those clips of Ray going off, and Ray is like he's a bull. And he goes off at these guys, and it comes from a place of love. But when people see a 30-second or 60-second clip on Instagram or YouTube, wherever, and they don't realize this is a 75-hour experience, and they go, "Man, I would punch that guy, that Navy SEAL, in the mouth if he talked to me like that." It's like, yeah, but there's hours where he's loving up on these guys. There's hours where he's crying with them. There's hours where we're just like journaling with them, talking about the deepest, most painful parts of their life. But that's not beautiful to put on Instagram. What is sexy to put on Instagram is Ray doing what Ray does best, which is getting up someone's ass.
Yeah, for anybody that doesn't know Ray Cash, you should follow him on social media. But what very animated profile.
Right.
I love that guy.
Right.
But who's the demographic that signs up for this?
So I thought it was going to be male entrepreneur. I only want men to go through this because men have no place that's a society specifically for them anymore. And everything's been infiltrated, and men have been, we're called toxic. If, God forbid, you have some ambition, you have some drive, you try and open the door for someone, you say please and thank you, you stand up and shake hands, you're toxic. You say what's on your mind and heart, you're patriotic, you're toxic. Hell, you might even be a domestic terrorist, especially you, because you have a military background, which just blows me away. It's absurd. So I thought it was just going to be for male entrepreneurs who they're successful in business, but their marriages are falling apart. They have addictions and vices, and they are alone. They're an island. And I always say it's for the guy who's suffering in silence, white-knuckling through life, but financially doing well for himself.
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn Ryan. Click here to subscribe to the Shawn Ryan Show YouTube channel for the hottest and most compelling interviews that you will not see anywhere else. I've also made a playlist of all the previous SRS episodes so they're easy to find. You can find that right here.